Well, thank you. Thanks for being here. I just feel gratitude. I feel like I'm fulfilling a calling. This is a culmination of a vision that happened in the middle of the night, maybe 4 months ago. Seeing you here and the amazing amount of help and support and people that just say, we want to be part of it, we want to help. This is a vision that came through me and was delivered by literally hundreds of people, bringing you into this room, bringing the tribe together, building this clubhouse. So thank you. So I get the opportunity. We shifted around in terms of how we could present what we wanted to present, and there just isn't enough time to present the science here. We're going to do that on the website, through the newsletter, through articles, blogs, and papers that we're going to write. Here we wanted to do a little bit things differently, and Reed and I it's been sleepless nights leading up to this, just thinking about it, talking about it. Reed and I have the kind of relationship where we spend all day sending each other cool stuff. Journal articles, memes, funny things, whatever. It's really fun. I wish you could just tap into it because we laugh all day as a result. What I love, what lights me up, and what I realize is I love tribe building. I love the process of bringing together people. And I didn't know how much until really recently, how much I spend and my energy on that. But 3 years ago, I really, like all of us, the product of a lot of shit. Yeah. Heartache, childhood stuff, depression, addictions, all that kind of stuff culminates in something. And that happened, that shift for me was about 5 years ago. And probably 3 or 4 years ago, I just kept saying, where's my tribe? Where are my people? And I think I finally, with several other friends, decided we have to individually build this. Each tribe is unique. We become the hub. We bring people together. Then bringing those circles together, allows other people of the same mindset, awakened people, to come together. So I started a men's book group, really close friends and new friends. We put that together. I've always done this, but I kind of put it on the regular to do a monthly dinner, a small group, and then Sunday or barbecues in the summer. That's more an open invite. I put this out there because I would love to see more of this. One of the complaints that I had, selfishly, was the hope that people would do it back, would invite me to their stuff, And I made that complaint to a really good friend, and he's like, people are working at their capacity right now. Their time is spent, children, families, work. They come home, and most people they don't have the bandwidth, and that's really understandable. And not. Because if you want to build this, you can. If you want to be, someone that is a tribe builder, bring ceremony and sacred space to other people, you can. And it's just doing that, maybe 2%, a little bit. And it could just be a small group dinner, a family dinner, your tribe, new people. And so I invite you to do that. My talk is about sort of bridging. What does ceremony have to do with psychedelic science, has to do with, building ritual? How does that all build together? One of the things that I've thought a lot about is ancient traditions. We are using ancient technologies that were not man-made to create mystical experience that was given to us for a purpose, to wake up. Paul Stamets describes that as the earth. Ayahuasca is described as the grandmother. Who is that? Is it Mother Earth? Is it Heavenly Mother? However you define that, it is something outside that was given to us to learn, to grow, to become, to gift. Recently I was listening to Sam Harris talk. He was probably high, but I think he must have been holding a mushroom. He's like, how in the world can this change everything? And it's true. How is that possible? The worlds change. Other beings are met. We vision our life. Everything shifts. How is that possible? I think it was purposeful, right? Paul Stamets famously says he's controlled by the mycelium. You know, the mycelium is how the earth is coming and speaking to us. It's mycelium and the fruits of mycelium create. It came out of the water 500 million years before anything else. And I think it's a privilege to work with it, work space, create ceremony. So I want to talk about ceremony. For a second, close your eyes, please. I promise your stuff is safe, no elves running around. So close your eyes and breathe and think about home. Not just your home, but what creates home. That word home, it's a sacred word. What is your safest place? Maybe it's not the place that you live in. Maybe it's someone else's home. What allows you to call it home? Traditions, rituals. What do you do in that home? What is the feeling? How did they create that? Was it curated? Or is it just the people? It's probably a mixture of both, and that's okay. I want you to take that vision home with you to create home for yourself and for other people. That is ceremony. That is invoking space. As guides, as therapists, what we learn, how we create a sacred space. We talk about set and setting. So we're talking about rituals. We're talking about how did ancient shamans do this? It wasn't recreationally. It wasn't haphazardly. It was deliberate. It was with intention. It was with shamans and elders and ancient ones, trusted people that created space. If you do not trust, don't go. You won't go. You can't let go of your ego without trust, right? That happens in your home. You can be the goofy person in your home, laugh and play and dance and sing. That's the feeling of being home. And then what can the medicine do? What can letting the ego do to come into the truth, into awakened state? What does that allow you to create? That's ceremony. In our clinic, combining science and therapy, right? Traditional psychology doesn't want to work in that space. They want to work with 2 chairs and a doctor and a lab coat, and it's not that. We're creating a different experience for people. Ketamine, powerful medicine, and given the right way, can create a psycholytic space, and then what? Did you come in safely? Do you leave safely? Or do you have something someone, a therapist, a guide, a coach that creates a safe space and then integrates, helps you? There's a conversation now in our scientist meeting, and we're writing a paper about the shadow. What is the dark side of that? Because creating space and being a guide comes with a bias. Your bias placed on someone else. It's the first thing that's learned for psychotherapists. Don't place your bias on someone else. Hold their space. Allow them to grow within their vision. What does that have to do with psychedelic psychotherapy as we come into a new era of treatment? 78% effectiveness for treatment-resistant depression. That changes everything, right? SSRI, psychotherapy, CBT, even the best models don't come close. I really believe 10 years from now, some of these treatment models, it'll be unethical to treat any other way. I believe that. I've seen the science, I've seen the holographic work that was put out by Johns Hopkins 10, 12 years ago, where the placebo versus psilocybin, that graph, it's on neurodevelop.com if you need it, but it's a study done at Johns Hopkins, I believe, and the axonal connection, right? It changes everything. That's where growth happens. That when we talk about changing, intention, learning, neurologically, to me, that means axons, gray matter changing. We talk about erasing the ruts in the road. That has a neurologic basis. So I get to think about that. I love it. The process of back and forth. I want you to think about it back and forth. When you're in and outside of your experiences, what's going on? What is creating this experience? And then the other idea that also always comes up in ceremony is, I'm the only one having this experience. Like, I'm the only one super affected, changed, and then what? So how do you do that? Again, it comes back to, what's the purpose? Change, home, ritual. What are you then doing? Because the most effective therapy is about change, right? If you keep doing the same thing over and over, that's the definition of, why be insane? Why not be awake? Why not grasp on and not be tied to your past? I was in a philosophy class early in graduate school, and we were talking about existential time, linear time versus existential time, and being able to turn on a dime. You can be different, actually. You can shift right now in this moment, choose an archetype, choose a mentor, choose a path, and shift. Medicine allows that paradigm shift. It brings you out of your past experience and allows you to think in a bigger way about who I am, what the world is, what my experience is in it, relationships that are affecting me. So I'm going to have to close in a minute, and we're going to shift here. But my purpose here was to bridge, I think, the science and the woo-woo that we talk about in a peaceful, happy way. I don't find myself a terribly funny guy. That's that guy. And that's, I laugh all the time with him. And I think, and I'm an empath probably to my detriment, and I love creating space. And to you, my best friends, you're welcome here, and what we're doing in our clubhouse, you're welcome in my home. We want to be part of your experience, so please don't back down in any way. We invite you to be part of it. Thank you.